Pronto.
Hey, boss, it's Luigi. I'm down at the docks, Pier 12, yeah.
And is Capillari sleeping with the fishes?
Well, not exactly. We're having a slight problem. You know,
What do you mean, no exactly? Is the cement not dry?
Sure, but the guy just won't sink, you know, I did try.
So, what's the problem?
Well, you see, he had one last wish. He wanted a Red Bull.
Oh, you idiot!
Red Bull gives you wings.
When Red Bull launched, the energy drink market didn't even exist. Research suggested it wouldn't be successful, but the founders persevered to win over consumers and health officials. Today, Red Bull is a multi-billion-dollar empire. The story begins with a duck farmer who noticed that laborers and blue-collar workers needed a quick energy boost. Welcome to the Cost Cover Deck. On August 17, 1923, Chaleo Yuvidya was born in Phuket, Thailand. His parents were poor Chinese immigrants who raised and sold ducks. Fruit to make a living, Charlie didn't have much of an education, so he helped his parents before moving to Bangkok. There, he worked at his brother's chemist shop, then as a bus driver and pharmaceutical salesman. Eventually, he started his own company, TC Pharmaceutical Industries, making antibiotics. Through these experiences, he discovered something that changed his life: an energy tonic drink packed with vitamins and extra caffeine. It quickly became a hit among truck drivers and farmers. Factory workers who toiled long hours needed an energy boost. But at the time, the only option was a no-name mixture from a Japanese brand called Provident D. This drink made its way to Thailand when Japanese workers moved there to oversee factory operations. Described as having a medicinal flavor, Chaleo came up with the idea of making a sweeter version that would appeal to the locals. In 1976, he launched his own berry-flavored drink called Krating Dang, meaning red water buffalo in Thai. He promoted it as a drink that would enhance endurance, concentration, and speed, pricing it at around 30 cents US. Initially unpopular, Krating Dang's sales quickly surpassed every competitor except Le Paviton within just 1 year. Eventually, it dominated the market. Krating Dang's early success can be credited to Chaleo's unconventional approach. He envisioned the brand's logo as a sun for energy, 2 bowls for strength, and red for perseverance. His strategy targeted laborers and blue-collar workers instead of Bangkok's elite, a bold move at the time. Early advertisements featured laborers relaxing on wooden platforms in rural areas, enjoying the drink from tumbler glasses. To further promote Krating Dang, he sponsored high-profile Muay Thai champions and boxing events, associating the drink with Thailand's beloved sport. In the 1980s, Chaleo began selling Krating Dang internationally, starting with Singapore and later Hong Kong, turning Thailand into one of Asia's tiger cub economies. Meanwhile, Dietrich Mateschitz discovered Krating Dang during a business trip to Thailand. One glass cured his jet lag, and he was hooked. Like Chaleo, Mateschitz had an unconventional way of doing things. Born on May 20, 1944, in St. in a marine village in Austria, his family was mostly conservative, full of officers, priests, and teachers. Rather than attend a university close to home in Graz, he convinced his mother to let him study ship construction in Vienna. It was the only program not available in Graz and his opportunity to move to Vienna. He ended up changing universities many times and settled on studying commerce at the Vienna University of Economics and Business. It took him 10 years to receive his degree, as he was enjoying life in Vienna and his job as a ski instructor, so he didn't rush to finish university. After graduating, he worked for Blendax, a German toothpaste company, and became their international marketing director. While he got to travel all around the world, he was getting bored with his job. All I could see was the same gray airplanes, the same gray suits, the same gray faces. I asked myself whether I wanted to spend the next decade as I spent the previous one, he said. It wasn't until 10 years later into the job that he made a discovery that changed the course of his life. During a trip to Hong Kong, he read a newspaper that highlighted Le Paviton as Japan's biggest taxpayer. At that moment, he decided to quit his job and track down Chaleo Yuvidya. He wanted to start a company and market Krating Dang in Europe. There was nothing like it in the West. He met with Chaleo in Bangkok and made his proposal. Chaleo was skeptical at first, but he managed to convince him. Both of them invested $500,000 and took 49% ownership, with the remaining 2% going to Chaleo's son, Chalern. For the next 3 years, Dietrich analyzed the market and worked on the concept and design. When he hired a research firm to test the product, the result was a catastrophe. The trial group said the drink tasted disgusting and left a sticky feeling in their mouths. People didn't like the taste, the logo, or the brand. I'd never before experienced such a disaster, he said, convinced that they were wrong. he moved forward with setting up offices in Austria and started working on distributing the product. It was then that he discovered they would face even more obstacles. He needed to get approval from the ministries of health in most European countries, since most of the product's ingredients hadn't been used in anything else on the market. Finally, in 1987, Austria's Ministry of Health granted its approval. That same year, the product launched with a new look and taste, and thus Red Bull was born. Dietrich replaced the medicine bottles with eye-catching silver and blue aluminum cans and carbonated the drink to appeal to Europeans. But the research firm's results proved to not be completely wrong. People were skeptical. The first few years were difficult. I sometimes had to put my own money in to shore up the company, he said. Chelio and Dietrich invented the energy drink category with Red Bull, so it would take time to win people over. That's when Dietrich decided to follow one of Chelio's strategies and combine business with his passion: extreme sports. He promoted Red Bull by sponsoring high-profile athletes and mountain biking, snowboarding, paragliding, and hang gliding competitions. Gerhard Berger, an Austrian Formula One racing driver, was the first athlete sponsored by Red Bull. Dietrich claims he survived on the drink. His strategy worked, and Red Bull took off. But it wasn't long until the company faced even more obstacles. A few weeks into their launch in Germany, they ran out of cans. We had no idea that there could be a bottleneck in aluminum cans around the world. We needed 1 million cans a day, but we simply couldn't get a single can extra and ran out, he said. When they launched in the UK, they faced stiff competition. Locals overlooked Red Bull since they grew up drinking Lucozade, a carbonated orange-flavored drink that was first promoted as a sickness remedy and then later as an energy drink. Things changed when snowboarders and clubbers started drinking Red Bull at raves. Eventually, it became a mixer and was mainly sold in bars and clubs. While Dietrich was disappointed that some used Red Bull as just a mixer, he continued to target young partygoers, adventure seekers, and extreme sports enthusiasts. He paid students to throw Red Bull parties and drive around in minis and Beetles with cans strapped on top. He also continued to sponsor wacky competitions like Red Bull Flag Tag, where contestants attempt to fly homemade gliders. We don't bring the product to the people, we bring the people to the product. We make it available, and those who love our style come to us, Dietrich said. He turned the laborer and blue-collar drink into a premium lifestyle product, the opposite of what Chelio would do with Krating Daeng after launching in the US. Red Bull sold its billionth can and became a billion-dollar company. Charlie O became Thailand's third richest man, and coincidentally, Dietrich became Austria's third richest man. This is the story of how it all started with a drink that created its own market. Which part did you find inspiring? Let us know in the comments below. It gives you wings.